This is the Washington Times front page for Wednesday, March 16th, 2022. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. President Biden is set to travel to Europe next week to huddle with top U.S. allies over their ongoing response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Ben Wolfgang, Jeff Murdoch, and Tom Howe report U.S. officials say the president will hold face-to-face meetings with several European counterparts on March 24th while attending a special NATO summit in Brussels. Biden will also attend a scheduled European Council summit where officials say discussions are underway toward increasing sanctions on Russia and expanding the European Union's humanitarian response to the invasion. U.S. military officials say the dynamic of the conflict has changed little in recent days. Russia's been able to shell military and civilian targets at will, but its ground forces made only minor advances against an unexpectedly tough Ukrainian resistance. That resistance has garnered growing international support and put pressure on Western leaders to do more to help Ukraine defend its territory. Meanwhile, Chinese President Xi Jinping is being tested by the war as he seeks to support Russia in the face of crippling Western sanctions. Bill Gertz reports China's main concern is not with the unfolding humanitarian disaster in Ukraine, but with its own interests. A senior Biden administration official declined to discuss Russian requests for Chinese support, but said, "We do have deep concerns about China's alignment with Russia at this time." Some House lawmakers say they want answers about the FBI's operations after an internal audit revealed agents flouting the rules during investigations. Ryan Lovelace first reported earlier this week that FBI agents broke their own rules more than 700 times in 18 months while conducting sensitive investigations, according to an internal bureau audit. Now, a handful of members, including Maryland Democrat Jamie Raskin and South Carolina Republican Nancy Mace, say they want the GAO to study whether FBI agents' assessments yielded improper monitoring of constitutionally protected activity of Americans, including those in political, racial, or religious organizations. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. Also a reminder that you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at WashTimes, as well as on Facebook for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. Though her record on abortion is slim, conservative critics are looking to knock Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson on her few rulings on the topic. Alex Sawyer reports Jackson ruled against the Trump administration's effort to cut funding to groups that provide contraceptive education and referrals to clinics for preventing teen pregnancy as a member of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. Jackson said the move violated the Administrative Procedure Act because the administration took away funds already allocated to the groups without following procedures. She also represented pro-choice organizations as a private practice lawyer in a 2001 challenge to pro-life protests outside abortion clinics in Massachusetts. Jackson is scheduled to appear before the Senate Judiciary Committee next week for confirmation hearings. And finally, if you're still adjusting to last week's time change, the U.S. Senate has some good news for you. It wants to make daylight saving time permanent. Harris Alec reports the upper chamber has passed a bill to stop Americans' twice-yearly practice of changing their clocks. The bipartisan measure, authored by Massachusetts Democratic Senator Ed Markey and Florida Republican Senator Marco Rubio, passed unanimously and now heads to the House. Congress has experimented in the past with making daylight saving time permanent, most notably during World War II. Proponents argue that changing the time back and forth can increase crime rates, heart attacks, traffic accidents, and seasonal depression. A handful of places currently don't make the time switch when it occurs, including Hawaii, Arizona, and parts of Indiana. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and a reminder that you can find us on any major podcast platform. Just search Washington Times in your favorite podcast app. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.